people walk across the IUPUI campus, they may not give thought to their surroundings. Most walk through the courtyard and sidewalks of the campus, unaware that there are many sculptures dotting the university landscape. These works of art are part of the campus plan to enrich the lives of students, faculty, staff, and visitors. Where did they come from? What is their story?
Each individual sculpture that's placed on campus has its own particular story. So they didn't all come at one time. They didn't have a particular placement involved. So each one was kind of determined as they became available. Some of the pieces were a result of students having placed them elsewhere, and when that time period ended, they were looking for a new home.
As the IUPUI campus continues to grow and become denser with buildings, planning where to put sculptures and how to connect them with Indianapolis public art has become an emphasis.
But it also presented an opportunity to talk about all of the sculptures, all 15 of them, and why they're different, why they're important to campus, how to create dialogue, why is public art. It raised a lot of questions. Is this art, for one? And it seemed to me a very interesting question, because at that time, if people liked the sculpture, then it was art. If they didn't like the sculpture, then it was not art. And in no other field do I know that if you happen to agree in science with a theory or an experiment, that it is true science. If you don't like the outcome of it, it's no longer science.
John Toriano's Mega Gem, and I don't know if you know the piece, but it's a large gem with a bunch of multicolored faceted elements to it, and it's located in this courtyard, sort of just southeast of the campus center, and it's a piece that I think is very funny. You cross through this courtyard and you see this gigantic gem. It's totally out of, it's as if a gem dropped from space, and it doesn't make any sense. And I think that Toriano had a sense of humor, and I think he intentionally wanted you to consider why this gem is out in the middle of this courtyard and what's it doing. And so that's a piece that I think works better in different contexts. You know, I think if you put it, it can make a bit of comedy if installed correctly, and I think it works pretty well here.
If you look around the main quadrant where many students pass each day, it's hard not to notice the towering silver forms that face each other.
The original sculpture that was placed on campus was the David von Schlegel, and that is the L sculptures that are in the quad between the University College and Kavanaugh Hall.
David von Schlegel's Untitled L's, and so those are those pieces that are two big L's in a courtyard. There's sort of three big L's. There's an L here, here, and here, and there's always stuff in the courtyard. People are always walking through it, and I don't know that folks realize that when he installed that was one of the first sculptures that was installed when IUPUI became a campus or became an entity, and so it actually has different components to it. There's some sycamore trees over east of it, and there's some sycamore trees west of it that are actually part of the sculpture, and so the whole thing is a kind of installation.
The large sculptures on campus stand as markers filling the space between the stone building. East-West Gate is a twirling form that invites students to investigate.
But probably the most notable one that people saw arrive on campus is Eastgate, Westgate, that large stainless steel tube structure that has a sort of circular tube. Eastgate, Westgate is here at IUPUI on a loan from the museum.
That piece was brought in on a helicopter, and it was a sight. In fact, it got national news. So, you know, that's the other extreme, where you deliver a sculpture by a helicopter. Other times, like the Austin Collins piece, came over from the White River State Park. They basically picked up the sculpture on a forklift, drove it across the bridge, and located it.
There are sculptures on the campus of IUPUI that may take effort to find and get its full effect. This might be due to reason including size and location.
There's another piece that's really quite hard to find but it's worth finding. It's called Procession of Ants, and right now the sculpture, I've forgotten his name, but it's a series of maybe 15 ants that are located in this space just east of the campus center that are kind of in this, this well where they're sort of climbing out and up a wall.
In pursuit of a shared goal, a goal to bring discussion, to bring exploration, to bring curiosity and interest, these sculptures and many others are able to meet an audience of educators and students, an audience of over 30,000 at IUPUI. Although many sculptures found around campus are from various sources, several are direct contributions from past alumni, such as Willie Faust.
The Willie Faust piece that's prominently placed on New York and Blackford, I think was really a signature piece for the new school. It's great that Willie is an alum of the school. There's also a small piece there I know fairly well by Don Gummer, who is a famous sculptor that lives in New York, who attended Heron briefly before leaving Indiana, which is or Indianapolis, where he grew up, and going to the Boston Museum School, and then eventually to Yale for his MFA.
The Campus Arts Committee was started in 1999 as a mechanism to develop a procedure and process for evaluating art, accepting gifts of art, and also to help the campus develop a vision for why art is important and to determine what is a public space on campus.
In such a busy world, it is hard to stop and admire art. But now that you know a little more about the sculptures on the IUPUI campus, maybe you'll be more aware and take the time to admire them.
It is important here on campus to continue thinking about public art and to continue to support work in the public realm by all kinds of creative talent.
The future of public art on campus, I'm hoping, will continue to be an important part of all students' experiences here. The benefits of bringing public art to campus is very valuable, I think, in all experiences for students in all areas beyond the arts, and it brings a vibrancy to campus, it brings visitors to campus, it opens dialogue between students that aren't necessarily even art students, staff, anybody that actually comes to campus. And the hopes that I have is that we become more deliberate about particular spaces.
It's important when you're doing any work in the public realm to have kind of a standard process or procedure for considering what can occur in a public space and having a standardized way for people to kind of engage in the same process and have the same kinds of considerations, since of course it is public space and a little bit belongs to all of us.
In the continual adoption of sculpture onto the IUPUI campus, a presence has been defined. Through the work of many, the expressions of artists may be enjoyed by all that walk on campus. But bringing art to campus is not the end goal of the artists and committees involved. The end goal arrives in its awareness. The end goal arrives giving thought to what we see and pass by each day.